My first job was at McDonald's. Now, it's not as bad as it sounds. In Australia, for school kids, it's actually a pretty good job. And it's actually great preparation for leadership. And so today, you're going to learn how working at McDonald's challenged my leadership. The first way in which working at McDonald's has challenged my leadership was creative innovation. Look, I'm the sort of person who's always looking to make things better. I suppose that's what makes me a good coach and a great entrepreneur, is because I'm always looking at ways in which I can make things more efficient, make things perform better. Like I'm always looking to make things better. But at McDonald's, they have very, very strict systems. You know, everyone worldwide knows that that's the key to McDonald's, is their systems and processes. Well, when you're a young, ignorant, egotistical little kid that thinks that he knows better, it's actually quite hard. And so that's how it really challenged my leadership, is I always saw a better way to do things, but I wasn't allowed to do it because you have to follow the rules. But do you? Look, we as leaders have to follow rules, whether it be the rules of an organization, the rules of a government, like the rules of an industry. There are always rules we have to follow. But it doesn't mean we are restricted by those rules. We can get creative within those rules. Let me give you an example of one of the key ways in which we used to get really innovative at McDonald's was for our closes, right? Yeah, back in the days before all McDonald's were like 24-hour McDonald's, they used to shut at some time. And when they're shut, that's when we clean the stores. And so some of the cleaning would actually start to happen before the store is closed, and you shut down some of the stations or parts of stations, etc., and you clean them, and you slowly work your way through until the store's shut, and then you clean the rest of the store. But we as kids were always trying to find ways to do it faster so we could knock off earlier, because, we'd normally be, clocking off, or closing the store at like 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So we wanted to get home, especially on a school night. And so I wanted to make the most efficient, and also I'm very competitive, so I wanted the fastest close in the store. And so I used to always find these little ways, these loopholes, and so I could be innovative creatively so that I could still follow the rules, but shut down stations sooner than they were meant to be shut down. I would cook certain things in a certain way that wouldn't dirty things. So I was still following the rules, but I found creative ways to innovate the way that I was doing things. So much to the point that I set the record for the fastest close. That is, from the time I locked the door, walked back to the grill, gave it one quick wipe, it was clean, walked over the clock and signed off. That was the fastest close in our store and in our region. No one had actually seen a close like that. I got so efficient because I was creative with my innovation. I didn't break any rules. Maybe there was some that were kind of like bent a little bit, but I didn't break any rules. I still made sure everything was cooked properly, made sure everything was delivered properly, except for just the way we did things was I just got creative with it. And that's what you need to do as a leader as well. You need to get creative with the way things are done. Don't just do things the way they've always been done, because you'll just get the same results as everyone else. But if you want to stand out as a leader, if you want to push your team, your organization ahead of the competition, then you need to get creative with your innovation within the rules. The second way in which working at McDonald's challenged my leadership was it takes time to climb the ladder. The great thing about McDonald's is there are quite clear growth and promotion paths within McDonald's. You start out as a trainee, then you become a crew, then you become a crew trainer, then you become a crew chief, and then you become a trainee manager, then you become a manager. And the great thing about that is you see this awesome growth of promotion and expansion in your work. And for people like me that's always trying to push ahead, I always wanted to reach that next goal. But what challenged my leadership was the fact that I always try to rush it, because I feel like I can do it a lot earlier, and maybe I might have the skill set to be able to do that next level job, but I just don't have the experience. And so what I loved about their process was there is literally timed requirements for you that you have to be in a certain role. You have to do a certain number of hours to be able to be ready for a promotion. And so it actually forced me to take time to be promoted through all of these roles up to, trainee manager, all the way up to there. And then unfortunately I got injured and wasn't able to continue working there. And I was able to work my way up and really develop my leadership at each level. And so I've taken that back. And while I still rush things a little bit, it does force me to think back to my times at McDonald's and go, no, okay, I'm going to take my time to learn this role before I try to run onto the next role. We as leaders are always trying to run ahead. That's why we're leaders. We're always running ahead of the pack. But sometimes we just need to slow ourselves down and make sure we do our growth progressively and with the right time. So we're getting the right skills and experience as we are growing in our leadership. The third way in which working at McDonald's challenged my leadership was systems rule. Yeah, now look, someone that's clinically OCD, I love systems, I love structures, but I'm also a bit of free spirit as well. So I like to do my own thing, a bit of a lone ranger, lone wolf, I suppose you could say sometimes. And so it actually really challenged me, even though they have incredible systems, it really challenged me because I wasn't able to do my own thing. I said that yes, I found creative ways to do things, but then there's all these other operations as well that just need to be done the right way. And what I learned is at McDonald's is even though I thought I could see better ways and some things I got creative with, if you actually step back and my time there, I learned that they know what they're doing. Systems rule. Systems protect yourself. And when I say rule, like they rule, man, like not like rule over you, right? Systems rule, right? Like systems are awesome. I love systems. It enabled me to really develop my absolute love for systems and process because I just saw how it was really efficient that you could take any 13 or 14-year-old kid out of, off the street, chuck a striped uniform on them. Back when I worked at McDonald's, it was the green stripes. Yep. You chuck a striped uniform on a kid, and they could actually make burgers and they could make you money and they could run your business for you. Yes, a business that runs on 14-year-old kids. Crazy, right? But it's because of the systems. And I realize how valuable systems are. And so whenever I do anything now, one of the first things I do is develop systems and processes so my team can follow it, so they know what they're doing. So it makes it easier for my team to succeed. So as you're leading, if you don't have systems, if you don't have love for systems, let me encourage you. You should fall in love with systems because systems rule. 3 ways in which working at McDonald's challenged my leadership was number 1, you have to be creative at innovation. Yes, you need to have creative innovation as a leader, always working within the rules, but finding how you can innovate within those rules. Number 2 is take time to climb the ladder. Take time to climb the ladder. That's right. Make sure you're learning and growing and gathering experience all along the way as you're progressing. Don't try to rush the process. And number 3 is make sure that you fall in love with systems because systems rule. Hey, if you've enjoyed that, give it a thumbs up. Put a comment below if you've ever worked in a fast food restaurant. I'd love to hear stories of how you got creative at innovating within the rules. And if you want to see more content like this, hey, consider subscribing to the channel.